Hello guys, it's Peter from PS Sound, and this is quite an unusual project in a way. Well, it's usual in a way that it has to sound good, but this is for Chris, who's here with us. Many people know his Audi TT Mark 1 project that we had. How many videos of, Chris? 20?
It's the biggest playlist on your channel.
Definitely. Yeah, we had many chapters in that car, and he had the itch to have a new daily car with a twist. You will talk about the front end when I walk around, then you can explain what happened in the car, not just audio wise. So the brief was to use as much as we can from the existing gear he had on the shelf, plus he bought a few little things like these old school JBL power range. I think this was the P1222. How much did you pay for the pair?
£60 each.
Yeah, it's a joke. It looks like an absolutely huge, ridiculously huge box, but underneath the drivers we have the V-Large. So it's not as big. It's not as big as it looks, but it's big enough. Probably it's easily, I don't know, 2.5 cubic foot for the two drivers in sealed, and they do an excellent job, especially for this money. We try to, you know, source all the gear as cheap as possible to get great results. So this car had a system in it before, so none of that was done by us. There was a similar looking box on this side with an actual subwoofer, and that one over there is a passive radiator that now we didn't take out because then we would just make it look worse. But the whole interior was trimmed. It was carpeted before Chris bought the car, and that was an amp rack on that side before. So that's where we created a nice little amp rack for two amplifiers. And that's not what we planned originally, because we were supposed to have another Zapco amplifier on the top, an ST6 6XD SP amp, and they would have looked matching with an ST2000XM monoblock running the subs on 2 ohm. Plenty of juice for the subs. We don't really have to push the amplifier to the absolute edge because we have insane amount of headroom in this cabin, you know, compared to the front end. But that's the simple amplifier layout, and we have a nice and cheap, like a £30 Bluetooth DAC that gives us optical output straight into the DSP, and we control the level from the source. As simple as that. Let's go to the front end because that's not usual. So we did something ridiculous. As this door card was useless, there's nothing at the bottom. Originally the speaker in it, a 5.25 inch speaker, is there on the top. We cut the whole pocket off, and then we built chunky big enclosures. And they come a bit further out than I would ideally like, but you know, it's not a show car, it's a daily car, and this way we definitely got plenty of space. We counted it 15.5 minus the speaker and the braces. So we easily have 15 liter, which is around, what is it, 0.55 cubic foot, huge enclosures, and ported. So Chris had these Accuton drivers in his TT, some of you may remember, in the kicks in the small enclosures. And then, of course, we turned the TT into IB. We have 6.5s in IB, but these drivers are not ideal for IB, not according to the T-Lensmo parameters, and not with a ceramic cone, definitely not. So we had the drivers on the shelf, and then we thought, you know what, we may as well use them. They are great drivers, and we made it ported. We made it nice and fun, and to be fair, it worked out fantastic. It comes alive from 45 and between 50 all the way up to where it has to integrate to the mids at above 200 hertz. They play so clean, so tight, and we don't really see any disadvantage of going ported right now. Did you hear any characteristic issue with it, Eddie, being ported?
No.
You didn't? Yeah, I didn't. Because usually we would go sealed, but then we knew that we would have amplifiers which don't have unlimited power, so we wanted nice dynamic output, and these drivers definitely feel great in a ported enclosure. And honestly, there's no disadvantage in this case being ported. It's tuned to 52 hertz, so as I say, down to 45 it's solid, and they literally play like bookshelf speakers. We don't have any chuffing noise. We 3D printed the port, and it turns in, and it's not long. It only goes to around there. It's only like 5 inch long, 2 inch wide, nicely flared on both sides, bolted in, and it just works so great, honestly. Then we go to the pillar situation, because that's again something unusual. So we ended up using the RG100s that we had on the shelf hanging around for a long time, and we didn't want to use it in any car. And then Chris is one of our good friends, and there you go. Who else would use these rare speakers? And you were always dreaming about these.
I wanted some, but they was just not available. They all sold out.
Yeah, at the time when it was available in UK, they sold out quick, and at the end, an old customer's car came back to us, and we had to strip it out, and we got these speakers left on the shelf, and then he ended up in Chris's car now as dedicated mid-range. We don't use it as wideband because we wanted something tasty. We wanted really detailed, nice tweeters, so we ended up using the Mundorf AMTU 80s. We could have had the 60s as well, to be fair, but then looking at the size of the mid-range, it's a 4-inch speaker, the 80s made more sense. And then Eddie printed these, hang on, which grill? Printed this shape. Well, I came up with the shape. Oh, I have to take credit for something. But then we ended up with this, with the grills. And it's just different, definitely different. I don't even know what to compare it to. I haven't seen a pillar design like this before. It looks cool. We kind of dig it. And then the other side.
Yeah, you came with the idea. I'll let you design it next time
Exactly.
to get credit.
Well, you get credit for designing printing. I just had an idea and drew it up my old school way.
Yeah.
Put it on if it stays on, because we have to fix it in place because it's not tight enough. For now it stays there. Yeah.
Oops, sorry.
And it's not that pokey for your eyes this way. 'Cause certainly that white cone and that tweeter is very shouty. Not that Chris lives at a rough area and anybody would like to rip speakers out of your pillars, but
The van's on the drive,
yeah.
and it's nice and secure.
Eddie also printed a solution for the iPad. Chris wanted an iPad mount here where he can hide the head unit, but he can still get to the head unit if he has to. There you go, nice and dusty. But what will you use that head unit for? Not much, will you? Not really. And then that was also customized because that cluster gauge came out of an ST, a Focus ST, right?
Yeah.
And we had to blend it in, so Eddie had a fair bit of filling blending to put it together from 3 different pieces or whatever it was, but that now looks pretty factory, because the whole dashboard is custom in this, right?
Yeah, we put the dashboard in from the later facelift version of this van,
Okay.
so that we could put that speedo in, because you've already mentioned it's a ST conversion. It's got the 5-pot in there.
Let's go to the front then. Let's show the guys what happened here, because this is not your everyday little transit van. Well, it's the Transit Connect, isn't it?
Yeah, Transit Connect Mark 1, and it's full focus ST 5-pot conversion.
Which actually looks small in here.
Yeah, everything's focused. The brakes, the ECU, the wiring loom. When you plug the computer in for diagnosis, it comes up full
That's
focus ST. Yeah, it's proper.
And the good thing is you have plenty of airspace here, so this engine is never going to struggle in this space. There's so much room down there. You see, we could have built a sub box there.
I've got plans
there
for
you
a
go.
bigger turbo and all sorts, you know me.
Yeah.
It won't stay the same forever.
Not that it's not producing enough power now. What's the current, you reckon?
About 220 at the minute, but
That's standard.
Yeah, I'll get it mapped, and if it's a healthy engine, I could see power up to 280 brake with no hardware changes.
Exactly. So yeah, that's your new little daily now with a system that's, you know,
A little bit lively.
it is lively.
Yeah.
definitely. It has quality at the front end as well as fun with that sub setup. Although we don't have a controller in the system yet, because with the original plan, as you know, originally we planned the Zapco ST6X DSP that can only run one preset, and with that you cannot even have a controller. Now we will have to keep this Helix M6, which is fantastic amplifier for the money, and some people may think that, oh, this is a cheap amp, especially for these great speakers. However, speakers matter way more, especially the installation and the tuning, and if you want a simple daily system, that amp just does, you know, everything perfectly. Yes, this is not like the amplification and DSP you have in the TT, but that wasn't the plan anyway. We were not planning to go overboard and go crazy. That Zapco monoblock as well, that's used. It's not like a new piece. Yes, so now we had to put in that new Helix amp, but it represents really good value. 6-channel amplifier with a 10-channel DSP. So you could even have 2 more channels which are not used for potential rear fill if we could hide another small 2-channel amp. I don't know where, because that space only has that amount of room. There's not much room we could get. But yeah, this is a very, very tasty daily system with a PS Sound Touch. No buzzes from the door, no rattles, beautifully clean kick bass. So no, I'm happy, because this system is exactly that. I'm happy to let you go home with.
Mate. It's exactly what I wanted, and
yeah,
more than
after
what
the
I was
TT,
expecting.
yeah, after the TT, you just can't have anything worse. Honestly.
Yeah, that's still special.
Yeah, no, this system is really cool. It's fun. You can definitely have fun with this. So yeah, this is it. We just want a short video for you guys, just to show this project, unusual project. If you want to see little updates of this, daily updates we shared on our Patreon channel, the checkout description, then you can see a link to our Patreon channel where we had a couple of daily updates, so you can see how this system was progressing, and there's a lot more you can learn over there. Now Patreon channel, after running it for 3 years, it has turned into more like a car audio encyclopedia, or whatever you call it, or you know.
It's buzzing.
Right, there's
It's a lot
so
of-
much. I checked it yesterday. I have 540 posts as of today, or just on
Let's-
Patreon.
let's-
Just on Patreon. It's crazy.
I've got a memory come up on Facebook, and last week was one of the days. Last week was 3 years ago to the day.
Of what?
Your Patreon.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There you go.
'Cause I looked through and it said
I knew
50
it was.
posts.
Yeah, I knew it was November 2020 when I started, and there's immense amount of knowledge on that channel now. Almost way more than on YouTube I've shared throughout the years. There's so much in-depth content over there, daily updates, weekly topics, really cool topics that, you know, the guys came up with, and I pulled the topics out. So definitely check that one out, guys. So we are going to leave it here. Feel free to share it, comment, all the usual things, and then hopefully I don't know, well, for you, we won't have a fancy project for a while, because you're going to be happy with this for several years.
TT's got to come back. for
TT has to
beauty
make an
panels.
appearance at some point next year. Other than that, I'm going to leave it here, and then we will see you next.